What if the world's most dominant office suite could be replaced overnight, without a single license fee, without a single line of proprietary code? In the heart of Europe, a free software project has just gone live, and the ripple is already shaking the foundations of a multi-billion-dollar empire. Will this be the moment Microsoft finally loses its monopoly on the Office desk? For more than 3 decades, Microsoft Office has been the de facto standard for word processing, spreadsheets, and presentations. Its dominance is not just commercial, it has shaped how we think about productivity, how businesses train new hires, and even how governments draft legislation. Yet beneath that polished veneer, a different story has been unfolding, a story of collaboration, of public funding, and of a relentless belief that software should be a shared public good. The origins of this European challenger trace back to the early 2000s, when a coalition of governments, universities, and independent developers began to ask a simple question: why should essential productivity tools be locked behind costly licenses? The answer sparked the birth of a community-driven Office suite, built on open standards, free to download, free to modify, and free to distribute. Over the years, this suite matured, gaining features that rivaled its proprietary counterpart, yet it remained largely a niche choice for enthusiasts and small organizations. Everything changed when the European Union announced a bold new directive aimed at reducing software lock-in across public administrations. The directive called for member states to adopt open-source solutions wherever feasible, citing cost savings, security transparency, and digital sovereignty as core motivations. In response, a consortium of European tech firms and research institutes accelerated development, pooling resources to deliver a version of the suite that could finally compete on equal footing with the market leader. The result is a release that not only matches the feature set of the commercial giant, but also introduces innovations that were previously impossible under a closed license. Real-time collaborative editing, native support for the open document format, and a modular architecture that allows organizations to tailor the software to their exact needs are now standard. Moreover, the code base is openly audited, meaning security vulnerabilities can be identified and patched by anyone, not just a single corporate team. What makes this launch truly historic is the timing. As businesses worldwide grapple with the economic fallout of recent crises, the promise of a zero-cost, fully functional Office suite arrives like a lifeline. Early adopters report savings that run into the millions of euros annually, while also gaining the flexibility to integrate the suite with custom workflows and cloud services without licensing restrictions. But the impact goes beyond the balance sheet. By breaking the monopoly on office productivity, this European initiative challenges the very paradigm of software ownership. It forces a re-examination of how value is created in the digital economy, shifting the focus from proprietary lock-in to community-driven innovation. In classrooms, students now learn on tools that they can inspect, modify, and share, fostering a generation of developers who view code as a public resource rather than a commercial commodity. Of course, the road ahead is not without obstacles. Large enterprises that have built entire ecosystems around the incumbent suite face migration challenges, from data compatibility to user retraining. Microsoft, with its deep integration into corporate infrastructure, is unlikely to cede ground without a strategic response. Yet the very existence of a viable free alternative forces the incumbent to reconsider pricing models, to open up APIs, and perhaps even to contribute more actively to open standards. This moment also raises a broader question about digital sovereignty. When a continent can produce its own core productivity tools, it reduces reliance on foreign technology giants, enhancing resilience against geopolitical pressures. The European model could inspire other regions to invest in homegrown alternatives, creating a more balanced global tech landscape. As we watch this story unfold, the implications are profound. We are witnessing not just a product launch, but a shift in the power dynamics of the software world. If you're finding this perspective eye-opening, hit that subscribe button and let's keep exploring together. In the coming weeks, we will examine how governments are drafting policies to encourage migration, how businesses are planning their transition roadmaps, and what the next generation of open-source office tools might look like. The narrative is still being written, and every stakeholder, from the IT manager to the everyday user, has a role to play. What do you think about a world where the Office suite on your screen is free, transparent, and community-maintained? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm eager to hear your perspective. Stay tuned, because the ripple effect of this European launch is only just beginning to be felt across the global tech ecosystem. As the implications of this seismic shift continue to unfold, it's essential to consider the human factor in this technological revolution. The men and women who have dedicated their lives to crafting a suite of tools that could potentially unseat the long-standing dominance of Microsoft Office. Behind the lines of code, the user interfaces, and the compatibility layers, there are stories of vision, perseverance, and collaboration. The journey of LibreOffice, from its inception to its current status as a formidable alternative, is a testament to the power of community-driven development, where thousands of contributors from around the globe come together, driven by a shared dream of democratizing access to productivity software. This movement is not merely about software, it's about promoting digital inclusivity, empowering individuals and organizations to take control of their technological destinies, and fostering an environment where innovation is not limited by licensing fees or proprietary constraints. As we delve deeper into the world of LibreOffice and the broader landscape of open-source software, we find ourselves at the crossroads of a significant cultural shift, one that challenges traditional notions of intellectual property, software development, and community engagement. The potential for LibreOffice to inspire similar initiatives across different domains of software development is vast. Imagine a future where critical applications, from operating systems to creative tools, are built upon open standards, freely accessible, and constantly evolving through the collective efforts of global communities. This is not a utopian vision, but a tangible reality that is being crafted today, thanks to the pioneering work of the LibreOffice community and other like-minded projects. As we reflect on the journey that has brought us to this point, we are compelled to ask, what does the future hold for this European-born phenomenon? How will governments, corporations, and individuals respond to the challenge and opportunity presented by LibreOffice? The answers to these questions will unfold over time, shaped by the interactions of countless stakeholders, each with their own visions, needs, and aspirations. In the midst of this evolving narrative, your perspective is invaluable. What do you think about the potential of LibreOffice to redefine the software landscape? Do you envision a future where open-source solutions become the norm, or do you see this as a niche movement with limited mainstream appeal? Share your thoughts, and let's continue this conversation, exploring the intricacies and implications of a world where software is no longer a commodity, but a collective resource. As we navigate the complex and dynamic world of technology, staying informed and engaged is crucial. If you're finding this exploration of LibreOffice and the future of software compelling, consider subscribing to our channel, where we dive into the stories behind the technologies that are shaping our world. Your support enables us to continue producing content that inspires, educates, and sparks meaningful conversations about the digital landscape and our place within it. By joining our community, you become part of a broader discussion that seeks to understand, critique, and contribute to the technological advancements that are redefining our lives. The moment the first stable build of the new LibreOffice release was uploaded to the public repository, the ripple effect was immediate. Within minutes, the download counters on the Mirror network surged past the threshold that had previously been reserved for seasonal peaks, a clear signal that the community, and perhaps more importantly, institutional users, were ready to test the promise of a truly free Office suite on a scale previously unseen. What makes this event different from any prior LibreOffice update is not merely the raw number of downloads, but the composition of the clientele. Across the continent, ministries of finance, education boards, and even the defense procurement offices have issued provisional licenses that allow their employees to replace the familiar proprietary suite without jeopardizing document compatibility. A press release from the European Commission's Digital Market Directorate confirmed that a pilot program, originally slated for a trial period of 6 months, would be accelerated to a full rollout after the initial feedback proved overwhelmingly positive. In the statements that followed, senior officials emphasized the strategic importance of reducing dependency on foreign software vendors, citing concerns over data sovereignty and long-term cost predictability. From a technical perspective, the current build incorporates a series of breakthroughs that address the very criticisms that have haunted LibreOffice for years. The rendering engine now leverages a vector-based graphics pipeline that matches the fidelity of its commercial counterpart, while a re-engineered calculation core reduces spreadsheet latency by a noticeable margin, even on modest hardware. Moreover, The integration of a native cloud synchronization module means that documents can be edited collaboratively in real time without the need for third-party extensions. These advances were not achieved in isolation. They are the result of a coordinated effort between European research institutions, private startups, and a legion of volunteers who contributed code, testing, and documentation. One of the most compelling arguments in favor of this transition is the financial calculus. While the upfront licensing fees for the dominant Office suite have historically been accounted for as operating expenses, the shift to an open-source model transforms those costs into a capital investment in infrastructure and training. The European Parliament's Budget Office released an analysis indicating that the aggregate savings over a 5-year horizon could reach into the billions of euros, a figure that, when expressed in terms of public services, translates into additional funding for schools, hospitals, and renewable energy projects. It is a narrative that resonates with citizens who have grown weary of opaque software licenses and the perpetual cycle of upgrades that seem designed more for profit than for productivity. Yet the path forward is not without obstacles. Compatibility, while vastly improved, still presents occasional edge cases where complex macros or legacy file formats fail to render identically. Enterprises that rely on deep integrations with legacy enterprise resource planning systems must allocate resources to adapt their workflows, a process that can be time-consuming and requires specialized expertise. Furthermore, the cultural inertia of users accustomed to a particular interface cannot be dismissed. Change management programs therefore become a pivotal component of any successful migration strategy. Training modules, user forums, and community-led webinars have already been deployed to smooth the transition, but the effectiveness of these initiatives will ultimately be measured by adoption rates and user satisfaction scores. The competitive response from the incumbent vendor has been swift and calculated. In a series of public statements, the company highlighted its ongoing investments in artificial intelligence-driven productivity tools, arguing that the added functionality and seamless integration across its broader ecosystem justify the continued subscription model. Simultaneously, the firm announced a modest price reduction for volume licenses aimed at public sector entities, a move that underscores the pressure it now feels from a rapidly consolidating open-source alternative. Analysts predict that the ensuing market dynamics will drive both parties to innovate at an unprecedented pace, a prospect that could benefit end users worldwide. What does this moment mean for the broader narrative of software freedom? At its core, the launch of a robust, community-backed Office suite capable of displacing a decades-old monopoly challenges the assumption that proprietary solutions are the only viable path for large-scale deployments. It demonstrates that when a coalition of governments, academia, and independent developers aligns around a common goal, the resulting ecosystem can rival and even surpass the resources of a multinational corporation. This is not a triumph of technology alone. It is a testament to the power of collective will and shared standards. Looking ahead, several scenarios are plausible. One possibility envisions a gradual but steady erosion of market share for the dominant suite as more public institutions adopt the open alternative, prompting private enterprises to follow suit in order to maintain compatibility with their partners and clients. Another outcome could see a hybrid environment emerge, where critical documents remain within the proprietary ecosystem while day-to-day tasks migrate to the free platform, creating a dual-track approach that balances risk and innovation. Regardless of which path materializes, the essential truth remains. The balance of power in the Office productivity arena has shifted, and the reverberations will be felt across the entire digital economy. As we stand at this crossroads, the question we must ask ourselves is not merely whether LibreOffice will replace its rival, but how we, as a community of users, developers, and policymakers, will shape the next chapter of this story. Will we seize the opportunity to build a more transparent, secure, and cost-effective digital infrastructure, or will we retreat into the comfort of established, closed-source solutions? The answer lies in the collective actions we take in the weeks and months to come. If this exploration of the European-born LibreOffice movement has sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you experimented with the new release in your workplace or classroom? What challenges or successes have you encountered? Your experiences add valuable insight to a conversation that extends far beyond a single video. Finally, if you appreciate deep dives into the forces reshaping technology and want to stay informed about the next breakthroughs, consider subscribing to the channel and joining our community of inquisitive minds. Your engagement, whether through a like, a share, or a thoughtful reply, helps sustain the dialogue that drives us all forward. Together, we can watch the evolution of software not as passive consumers, but as active participants in a world where knowledge is shared and innovation is a collective endeavor.